Huge crowd you brought out.
Huge crowd and an enthusiastic
Or as Donald
one.
would say, huge. Yeah?
This is exciting because someone says you get a half hour to talk with Kathie Lee, and I'm like, that's all? Because there's so much to talk to you about.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is that I met Brian when he was the senior producer of the 4th Hour of Today when I started. Yeah. And it was love. I thought it was love. 2 months later, he dumped me and moved on to his next career.
We have a little bit of a different story about that. But we actually think, let's go back to 2008. Let's see what that looked like. Do we have a picture? Look at that, 2008.
Look at Hoda's hair.
I know.
My gosh, you look so young.
Well, there's probably some retouching involved, but I think generally, as a general rule. But you also coordinated quite often on this. You still coordinate outfits.
We still do every day, and you and I did this morning. I sent him some naughty pictures.
Right. And I responded accordingly. But so because the truth is, when you're sitting across from someone every morning and you're wearing completely clashing colors, you notice.
And you tend to just be looking at it as opposed to listening to them.
Right. And so I said, what color are you wearing tomorrow? And she says, lavender. And I'm like, lavender? Like, how much lavender?
Like that wasn't a first for him.
Okay. So then I had to choose between all my lavender. But maybe it's too much. It looks like we should be, like, dancing the samba after this. But I like it.
We can do that. I'm not busy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're here for a lot of reasons. But right here, of course, you think Kathie Lee, you kind of think wine. Don't you kind of think wine?
I don't know why.
You think a lot of things.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a fun project of yours.
Compared to Broadway,
project.
it sure is. It's so much fun. After 50 years in this business, I don't like to take meetings anymore. It's just like, because nothing ever happens from them. And it's just, it's TikTok, you're going to die, eventually and quite soon.
That's really upbeat. Great, thanks. Keeping it light.
You start becoming very aware of how much time you have and how you want to spend it is what I mean, sweetie.
Right.
So this guy came to have a meeting, and I said, well, if he comes to the dressing room before the show, then okay. He comes up to me, he goes, you need to be in the wine business. And I said, where have you been all my life, right? Yeah.
Right.
So literally, he had already done his homework. He had paired me up with a fantastic family called the Scheid family out in Monterey County in California. They make magnificent wines for lots of other people and boutique type wines.
Mm-hmm. We're in New York. The police are just coming.
Yeah.
Shortly.
I'll get you your wine soon. There's no reason to go crazy. But anyway, it's just my friend Christine, who's my business partner, we went out to them. They had done their homework. They knew what I wanted. We started with a delicious Chardonnay right here. Yeah,
and you can certainly try some.
You know what? That's
not the first time you've had a drink.
No.
Right?
What time is it? Yeah, Hoda and I started much earlier than this.
Is that your favorite, the Chardonnay?
No, I love them all. They're my babies.
Right, of course.
But I want you to taste them because I don't like California Chardonnays anymore because they've gotten so oaky and so heavy and buttery.
Super
God
good.
bless you. Yeah, but this one is so light.
Smooth.
That's the word everybody uses for all our wines. And do it nice and chilled. And chilled.
Right.
Delicate. You don't have any aftertaste.
If you want to take these, I can just swig from the bottle directly.
All right.
Okay.
But no, you don't have to. You're an elegant guy.
Okay.
And look at that screw top. It's so easy, so fast.
Yeah, it cuts right to the chase. And this one
because there's a cork shortage, so even fine wines are now going
to. Is that right?
And
Save
it's
the cork.
Better. You get some wine and you uncork it, and then you can't get the cork back in. That's because it's not real cork; it's synthetic.
Is that right?
More and more and more, yeah. And this actually is better for your wine. It sustains its beauty and it sustains its the health of the actual product.
Let's not bash synthetics though. In
you can't have that one yet.
Half my face will be
Can't have
synthetic.
that one yet.
Okay.
There's a story about the.
Wait. Okay. Let me ask you a question though. Because we see the final product right here, but did you go out to Napa and taste like 20 wines and get hammered, spit them out? What happened?
No, you got to spit them out.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of the day it is.
Right.
But they do everything so elegantly. Then last year, we just came out with a rosé, all Pinot Noir grapes.
Okay, I'm one of those people like, which wine should I buy? This has a nice label. Like, don't you, like, because what do you do? So these are, I will say, actually all good, and I'm not just saying that. And this one really has a rosy smell.
This one sold out, so we're going to hopefully make a ton more of it this year. You never know we're starting small, trying to be steady.
Yeah.
And the response to this, because Monterey is probably the best climate in the entire United States for the Pinot Noir grape.
So you're there. You're tasting. Do you actually go taste the grapes? Do you taste all of the? How many say when you were saying I want to do a rosé? How many did you taste first? Like, and how does that work?
Well, they usually put like 5 different blends. We have a couple of master winemakers, and they know my style.
Right.
They know what they want to make, and they're hoping that I want to make the same thing.
Right.
And so they put like 5 different together, and Christine and I made a pack that we both had to love it, or we weren't going to go forward with it.
That's a good
And
rule.
then when they send it to my house, we have a group of 5 people at my house that all have to agree this is it.
Yeah. I didn't get that invite, but I bet it was a great time.
Well, they work there. They work at my house.
Oh, got it.
Or at somewhere.
Okay, got
in it. So
I'm still
I don't work
available.
for you anymore.
Still available.
Because you dumped me, remember? But the coolest thing is you're going to get today for the first time.
Yes.
I taste. See the difference in the bottle?
Yeah.
This is
it's
what
almost
you
like,
get.
It looks like the test, like the first bottle.
It is. And can you see it's already been tasted a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
You go out there to the Scheid Family Vineyards, and we taste them out there, and then they say we're going to bottle them, we're going to let them sit, and we're going to then get the final okay from you. So this might be up to you. This
now,
will
by
be
the way, we haven't
available in
mentioned the
June.
name of them. We haven't mentioned the name. GIFFT, GIFFT, and you can get them at giftwines.com.
GIFFTwines.com. Thank
And
you,
this is
sweetie.
my first.
This is the one I'm going to.
This is okay. Let's.
No.
Okay, we've got another glass right there. Okay, I'm gonna wait for you because we have to have a toast.
But I want you to look. Oh, I'm not Mike.
What am I doing?
I want you to look at the color of it first. Your
nice.
wine should not look like a urine specimen. Sorry to be gross, but it shouldn't be. Look at that.
Right.
Look, it's
Light, clear.
oh, this is the Chard. This is the Pinot Grigio of my dreams.
Okay.
Okay.
To you.
To you, my friend.
Truly to wonderful friend. And we have much more to talk about, but you've been a wonderful friend to me. And I love celebrating. And that's what this is about, this wine. Celebrating friendship together, right?
Let's sip and then we'll talk.
Oh, that is good.
It's like a nectar. I'm sorry we don't have enough for you.
Right.
Truth is, we haven't bottled it yet. So we're making
This
you
is
part
really
of the
good.
process. If you say yes, this is it.
This is it. Oh, absolutely.
Now, if you
Sign
take
me
the
up.
Second sip, and then you go.
This will be my third. I've already had a second.
Oh.
So, yeah. It just gets better with
It
every
really
sip.
does. I'm so excited about it. So, you know what? We're having a ball. It's fun. People might buy my wine, 1 bottle for the first time out of curiosity, but they're never going to spend their hard-earned money and come back and buy.
Because this
another.
is affordable too. You're not paying an arm and a leg.
No, some of the wines that are grown at our vineyard, some of those wines can be very, very, very pricey because that's how great the grapes are.
Yeah.
But I wanted something that everybody could afford.
Yeah.
So it's like retail, and it depends on where you live. $15 a bottle.
It's amazing.
But some of the best restaurants in New York and Connecticut, where I live, are
We got a woo. Okay.
yeah, for Connecticut or what? Are actually using it as their house wine because they can buy it.
Yeah. So if you go to a restaurant and they don't have it, you should ask.
Please
Where's my
do.
gift wines?
Please do.
Let's make this a grassroots effort for those restaurants that
I've
don't
been
have
begging the Chart House to do it. Maybe they're watching
it. Yeah.
AOL.com.
Okay,
right
I hope
now.
they are.
Yeah.
Now I want to back up a little bit because there's so many, like a fine wine. There's so
I
many
know, there's so
nuances
much.
and subtle elements to who you are.
And so little time.
So let's peel back the onion.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we've seen. By the way,
My mouth. That doesn't
Right.
usually happen.
So I want to talk about the fact you talked about 50 years in this business, which is really remarkable for any entertainer, performer. You have many hyphenates in your name, really. I mean,
Well, those because of marriages.
right? Yeah, exactly. But
Not quite as
entertain-
many as Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, how did you start when you went out to LA? Because I know you originally. My first introduction to you was as the La La Lady. Do you know what the La La Lady
name
is?
that tune.
Name
Hey,
that
look at
tune.
them. They weren't even born.
Okay,
That
let's
was
explain.
1977.
So Name That Tune was a show where they would play a song for you. Well, you would
I
sing
can
the
show
song.
you.
Okay, show me.
Okay. Say you're a contestant. And I go, la, la, and life is
Born
worth
free.
living. Yep, he
Born
won.
free.
He
So
just
you
won
change-
$100,000.
To modernize it, if we were doing the song My Humps, it would be like, what you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk? I'm gonna make you drunk, make you love drunk off la la. La 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 la, la 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 la. So you take the title and you change it to la.
What is the title of that terrible?
My Humps.
My Humps?
Yes.
Well, he's singing about what he knows.
So we went from Born Free to My Humps. It says
It's
a
not
lot
about
the both of
camels,
us.
right?
It's not about camels. It's about the curves. So,
Oh.
okay, but when you went out there, mic drop. So when you went out there, what was your wildest dream? What did you hope for, and what was your big break? What did you expect going out?
You know what? My wildest dreams were that I would just be able to make a living doing what I love to do, being an actress and a singer. That's all and I never dreamed that I would be a well-known one. Right. I just wanted to be able to know that I was looking forward to going to a job like that every day. Yeah. And nobody was more surprised than I was that the kind of success that I feel so blessed to have experienced. And once the La La Lady, and then that led to a sitcom called Hee Haw Honeys, which was terrible, but I loved it, and I was so grateful
you got to
for
sing.
it.
You sang country music.
I met every one of the country stars doing that, and they're all friends to this day. They're the nicest group of people in the world, en masse.
And that's what I can say, you know, having known you for the 8 years that I've known you, is you are a friend keeper. You are not, you know, we joke about how I wasn't on the show much longer after that. I left for other things. But here we are.
Yeah.
And you are that way. And I will say, when she first came to the Today Show, I had been there for a number of years. I had some fatigue from getting up so early for a long time. And like 2 days in, she was like, "Hi, Phil. Hi, Mark." Like, you knew everybody's names, and it was past the point where I could ask sometimes. You know how, like, you work somewhere for, like, 6 months later, you can't ask their name anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, who's that? I would be, like, asking Kathie Lee.
And we have 200 people at the Today Show.
Right, yeah.
That's a lot of names, but, you know.
Yeah, so what would you say has been the biggest challenge of your career?
Oh, biggest challenge.
Because it's
to remain authentic.
Remain authentic. Yeah. But I feel like that comes so easily to you.
Well, I don't want it if it can't be authentic. You know, I mean, if somebody doesn't like me, they're going to not like me on an authentic basis. They would have. I would have presented to them the real me.
Right.
And then, and the older you get, do you find this too? Because you're way behind me in years. But the older you get, the less people's opinions matter to you.
Right.
The hardest thing for anybody in the entertainment field is to stop caring what people say and what people think.
Right.
And something happened the other day, which was so interesting. Years ago, I went in to try out for Charlie's Angels, and because one of them was leaving, and the casting director immediately looked at me and goes, "Well, I'll tell you right now, you're not right for Charlie's Angels."
And how do you continue when someone
you
says
say,
right out of the gate?
"Okay, may I ask why?" And she goes, "We're looking for a pretty girl." And I go, "Okay." She goes, you know what I mean, like drop dead gorgeous, like, and it was like hit her to the right, hit her there, you know. And so I was walking out after being, you know, devastated, and I get to the door and I go, "When you're casting a cartoon, let me know." And I went out the door, and I remember walking out and going, "You know what? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I know who I am. I know what I am." And I think that's because my faith, you know, I mean, we're all created in the image of God, I believe, and we're all precious. And God did not make a mistake with you.
Right.
And He has gifts that you have, that you were born with them. Right. And so, you know, here's the funny part of the story. Just last week, I get an offer to do a film. And I don't get to do many films because of my schedule.
Right.
Why am I telling you this? You know that. And I'm going to tell you all. And I look, and it's from the very same casting director.
No.
And this is a good, 35 years ago. And I had to say no with regrets. You know, I wanted to do the movie. But I just thought, you know what? You wait long enough, it comes around, baby.
That's a long wait. I'd be emailing them, "Hey, you might want to check me out."
No, you know what? You never forget the people that are truly, truly... You'd never forget something like that, right? Maybe she was having a bad day. I just remember...
Maybe she's just rude.
Well, you never know. But the thing that I try to remember the most is the kindnesses that people do you. And there's so many of them. You know, it'll take hours to talk about the people that were blessings in my life, you know.
You got a lot of wine and a lot of time. So
and three... Which one do you like best?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to try the rosé again.
Okay.
I love it. It's summer-ish, you know, I like a summer, but I love the Pinot.
I can't believe we're looking at 4 now. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
You know, when it's a fun business, and it's just so fun for people to discover them and go, this is the best.
So tell me.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about live with Regis and Kathie Lee yet.
I thought you meant the other.
No.
Oh, okay.
The iconic live with Regis and Kathie Lee.
So, the original one.
The original, the original, which started out as a New York local show that then went national.
Regis and I called it a local piece of slime show, and we were proud of it. Yeah.
So, had you imagined all that it would bring, both the good and the bad? I mean, I can't imagine you would have imagined it. If you were to go back and give advice to that version of you, what would you have said? Because I feel like you are now, as part of the fourth hour, a far more enlightened and liberated, and you kind of been there, done it, and you're comfortable with all of it. What would you say to that earlier version of yourself?
The earlier version of me that just went to start my career and singing, and I would say, buckle up, honey. Buckle up. Because it's going to be a wild ride.
Right. I remember, even at the time, watching and thinking, you know, you would get a little flack for talking so much about your home life.
Right.
But what was so interesting, as you've described to me before, is you went home after work. So what was left to talk about? You went home. And now, if you watch a talk show now, all they do is talk about
I know it. And I was creamed for it. Yeah. Howard Stern tried to destroy me because of it. And that's another thing that happened. 30 years later, Howard apologized to me. And I just said, now pigs have flown. You know? If you wait long enough and you treat people with kindness, and I pray for Howard every day still. Yeah. Because I've had for 35 years.
You know what? You laugh, but you're telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, because the best way to not let bitterness grow in you, or hatred, or if you pray for that person, love can't live where hatred does or evil does, you know? And when he did apologize, I said, Howard, I forgave you 35 years ago, but I'm glad you're now reaching out to people that you think you've hurt.
Well, that feels good.
It felt great. I said, let's have dinner, you know? I just got back from a trip to Israel and invited him and Beth to go with us, you know? I don't want to live like that.
Could you imagine, first of all, the photos of Howard Stern and you in Israel in the Dead Sea? I love that.
With our mud packs.
Right. Which sounds like it was an amazing trip.
It was an unbelievable trip. Yes, if you've never been to Israel, it's the most amazing place on the planet. I've been going for 45 years. It's my favorite place on earth.
I love hearing your point of view, and I have to say I've learned a lot from you in the course of working with you and the course of all the years that have followed. What have you learned about yourself? I mean, you faced a lot of challenges this past year alone and in your career. What have you surprised yourself at your own strength, at your own, what has surprised you about yourself as you look back? Did you think you were as strong as...
How much weight you can gain.
How much weight?
How much weight you can gain when you're during menopause?
You look
I think
darn
that's the
good.
most surprising. Nobody told me to wait. No, in truth, the story of my life, when I look back on it, I'm 62. The story of my life is God's faithfulness to me, not my faithfulness to Him.
Yeah.
That's the story of my life. And I think we all, as human beings, long for the same things. We want to be loved. We want to be safe. We want to feel known but not rejected.
Right.
And if we look to the world to give us that, we're going to be disappointed, really disappointed. The thing that has just blown me away is God's faithfulness through an entire lifetime.
Do you think celebrities in particular are afraid to talk about God? Because you are not, and that is I think it's unusual to hear people talk about God in an interview.
I always have.
Yeah, but you find other celebrities reluctant or...
But I respect anybody who believes what they believe. Whatever their faith is, I may not agree with it, but I love passion in people. Mm-hmm. And if you are passionate about something, I can completely disagree with you, but I admire your passion and your courage to talk about it, you know?
Let's talk about, like,
Excuse me,
7-year-old...
may I have some wine, please?
Yeah, please. It's self-serve. So let's talk about a 7-year-old Kathie Lee, which would have been Catherine at the time, right? 7 or 8, you know, I'm not going to know the difference. You just tell me the story. So would your family have said to you... You could make something up. We're all going to believe you. Right. Talk to me about a 7-year-old you.
Okay. 7 years?
Or 7 or 8. Like, would your family have looked at the childhood version of you and said, oh, she is going to be on TV?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yes.
My nickname was...
Were you like...
Yes, I came out of the womb with a pratfall.
Right.
You know, I really did. I was a ham bone from day one, and my mother and father gave me the nickname Sarah Heartburn. Instead of Sarah Bernhardt.
Right.
Heartburn. Because I was just on every little stage. My sister and I put on shows constantly, constantly.
Was your sister like, can I be part of this show too? Or would you?
No, we were such a team.
You had a singing group together, didn't you?
Yeah, when we were early, like I was 12 and she was 10 or something like that. We first started singing professionally when I was about 12 years old. Thus the 50 years in this. And in a little group called Pennsylvania Next Right.
Did you?
It was during the...
Because you were in Maryland, so Pennsylvania kind of was the next
Pennsylvania Next Right, exactly. And it was
explaining it to the group.
Yeah, I lived in Maryland. So Pennsylvania was the next right.
Didn't you perform in a prison or something?
That's a whole other story. I don't
musically.
I don't like to talk about when I was doing time. But yes, my sister and I went with a guy named Pastor Ray into the men's penal. What's it called? Penal colony. That's what they called it back then. Men's penal colony in San Luis Obispo. I don't know what they call it now. Maybe they've changed the name.
How old were you about?
Oh, early 20s.
Who is this pastor guy? Like this is okay.
He had a ministry in prisons.
Were there bars between you and the prison?
No, you have to go through a gazillion checkpoints and stuff. It was a maximum security prison. And
Right.
you know who was our bodyguard in there?
Who?
Tex Watson. You guys probably don't even know the name, but Tex Watson was one of the people in the Manson family that murdered all those people.
And he was one of the guards?
Yes.
Well,
He had come to faith, transformed life, and
So he'd already killed the people. And
oh
now
yeah, he was in prison for
and someone
life.
said, you got the right stuff to be a guard in this prison.
No, he's not a guard. He's still an inmate.
Oh, he was an
He's
inmate.
still an inmate, but because of this transformation
Sorry.
in his life.
I've had a lot of wine.
I was there with no, you haven't. Then I was there with Pat Boone, and we were doing a concert that was being recorded for a television special.
Oh, God.
My sister and I, and it was 114 degrees, and the power went out. Now there are 2,400 maximum security prisoners,
and 20
the
gorgeous
worst of the worst.
young women there singing.
I wasn't that great.
Just
Still,
so-so?
no.
You were just okay.
But the power went out, and there's the warden, and they're thinking, and I can't even tell you the things these guys are yelling. And
Really?
the things they're doing.
Really?
And they thought there's going to be a riot.
That's terrifying.
No, well, we're all standing up on stage in the dark, basically. What a friend we have in Jesus.
Never have you been more passionate about that.
Oh
that
my
song at that
gosh. And it went on for at least, I think I remember 20 minutes. I'm not sure, but a long time. They hustled the warden and his wife out. And the rest of us are like, what?
Are you walking out while singing
No,
too?
you can't go. No,
because
And-
there's lock. You can't leave because you don't want to open a gate during a power failure.
Well, you'd be rushed, and
Yeah,
it was just like a standstill. And then all of a sudden, the lights came up, and we finished the concert. And I mean, that's one of those experiences in life, standing there with somebody in the Manson family,
Right.
And and at the Penal Institute. I like saying that,
Yeah.
and that happens. I mean, this is the stuff careers are made of. You
Right.
wait a minute, what?
If you can survive that, show business, no problem.
Oh,
like you did the
please.
penal system.
And Howard
4 more
Stern.
minutes with Kathie Lee. It sounds like a dirty game at a high school party, but can I have 4 more minutes before audience questions? Just nod yes. Okay.
Can we have an hour? Come on.
Okay, I'll be 3 more minutes. Okay. So, then, where
I've
do
never told that story ever.
Really? Oh my God, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's cool.
I'm gonna do just some rapid fire things. So, what was the job that made you the happiest? The job that made you happiest. First thing that comes to your mind.
Writing for Broadway.
Writing for Broadway.
Until I got to Broadway.
When you
and
did
everything.
Scandalous, which was Saving Amy, which you then changed to the name was
Right.
changed.
And
Beautiful
writing
story.
Under the Bridge, the first one that was off Broadway. That is, you know what? I've been in front of people my whole life performing.
Yes.
Then to discover writing as a passion more than
Yeah.
halfway through your life. And then that's when I left the show
Yeah.
with Regis.
Yeah.
Those things do happen in life. You do end up
Right.
leaving places. Seems to be a timely day to say that. And and yet I was so happy being home alone and with my kids and with my husband.
Okay. Oh,
and-
being with your got it.
yeah, just getting out of the spotlight
Yeah.
for 8 years was wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, I have to tell a quick story that I think is hilarious. When we went to see a show, Boeing together.
Oh my
and
gosh.
there was this guy sitting
I think
to the
you
left
went
of you.
potty in your pants. It was so funny.
It was so funny. So this guy to the left of her doesn't acknowledge that it's Kathie Lee, and I'm like, it's Kathie Lee. And he goes, "Excuse me, could you not snap your gum?" And I was like, okay, rude. And we were just like, but you weren't snapping. You were just like lightly chewing. I think like a light chewing was going on. But so then like we go through the whole first act, and the guy during intermission turns to you and goes, "Aren't you a Broadway writer?" And I was like, we've misjudged him, because literally he never mentioned that, like, oh, you've been on television shows, you've been in movies, but he's like, aren't you a Broadway writer? And I thought that was the most amazing moment.
I didn't realize I was, chewing. So I loved that show so much. I was laughing my butt
hilarious.
off. So I think I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I took
Yeah,
it.
you were so gracious about it.
Well, I don't like when other.
You're not a
Hoda
gums-
chews her cud.
Right.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
Don't give Hoda any gum.
Okay, more rapid fire.
was a
What Hollywood celebrity still gives you butterflies? Is there one?
Hugh Jackman, bless you, Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that Hugh?
Okay.
Is that you, Hugh?
Moment you've been the most proud.
Well, it has to be the birth of my children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has nothing to do with my career.
And I will say the most level-headed, well-adjusted, kind, generous, polite kids I have met ever. Seriously.
They're just the hardest job in the whole world is being a parent, trying to bring, really amazing human beings into their full adulthood.
Yeah.
The world does not need any more spoiled brats.
Yeah.
The world needs good, kind, generous.
Right. And they are not spoiled brats, and they could be. Honestly, they have every opportunity
could be.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But they really could be.
That's true.
We have some questions for the audience.
This is when I get scared. Not from her, though. She's sweet.
Oh, hi. It's good to see you. You look really great. I
Thank
love your
you.
dress. I wanted to ask you, for someone like myself who's never drank wine prior to, at all, what would you say to me to get me to, buy your wine?
Oh, well, I would never.
Sell it.
Wow, I would never ask somebody that has not ever had wine or has a reason not to. I would never suggest it. But if a person's interested in getting involved with wines, I would tell you because there's 4,800 acres at the Scheid Vineyard that are called sustainable. You can't say organic with anything with alcohol, but it's as close as being like pristine. You could you could go walk the whole 4,800 acres and eat off the.
Walk this.
I did it. I stomp on the grapes. I did the whole thing like Lucy and Ethel. I ran around in the tractor. It is so beautiful out there. I love California, and Monterey County was kind of the penal colony is also in that general vicinity, but it wasn't a part of California that I knew very, very well, and it's highly recommend you all. You always hear about Napa and Sonoma, but not so much about Monterey, and it's beautiful. The grapes are gorgeous, and the people are so sweet because they think of themselves as farmers. They're very agricultural, and they're nice people. So I would suggest to you that you just try them. I think for legal reasons, I can't ask you to come up here and try them. Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know. How old are you? 29.
We're live, so I mean,
Once we go off the air, just you come up and just come.
Yes,
say hi.
I will let you try all four. Okay. Yeah, but
you know what?
sue him if anything happens.
Because tasting is everything, right? Don't applaud that. Don't sue me.
And knowing that it's affordable is the main thing.
And I have to say, they really, truly are smooth, light, and delicious.
The red got a 91 from Wine Enthusiast magazine when it came out, and there is no. I don't like red wines mostly because they're too heavy, and there's aftertaste. There's the tannin, the bitterness.
You feel like you're going to get a headache when you drink some. You don't feel. I'm going to switch back over to that to just establish the point.
Okay.
Who else has a question?
It's good to have you here. Which broadcaster or journalist did you look up to? And if you did, if you had a chance to interview them, what question would it be?
Ooh.
Are you wanting to be a journalist? Is that what you're interested in?
Yeah, sports broadcaster, yes.
Okay. See, I never grew up wanting to be a journalist, sweetie. I wanted to be an actress and a singer. And my life took a turn when Regis, of all people, was leaving AM Los Angeles in L.A. to go on and do a different show with Mary Hart, actually.
Right.
And I was on the road, actually, as an opening act for Bill Cosby. For 2 years, I was Bill Cosby's opening act. And I'd just come back from...
Singing and doing a variety kind of like...
That's all.
Yeah.
Yes. And, yes, he was great to me. I got to be honest. He was great to me. And if he's watching, I pray for him all the time. I really do. And I pray for the ladies who, if they were hurt.
Right.
We weren't there. We don't know what happened, right?
So if we were to switch that, then who was your performing idol?
Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, and you've had a very career where you've been able to integrate singing into almost every aspect.
In the morning, in the evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? 20 years I worked for Carnival Cruise Line. They weren't even married. I mean, they weren't even born, much less married. Any of them, 20 years. In fact, that's longer than any other person has ever represented a product except for Bill Cosby with pudding.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I'm just glad that was in my key. We have one more question.
Kathie Lee, you are owning this stage. When I saw you on Difficult People, I didn't even laugh. I was screaming. It was so funny.
Oh, thank
you.
It was
so
I had
funny.
fun with that. I don't get out to do that kind of stuff very often, but I really love it when I do. Thank you.
Everyone take note. Do you read the comments when you read things online?
No, I have a Twitter. What do I have, a handle?
Kathie L. Gifford. Yeah.
That word scares me because you can say it and it'll come out wrong.
Right.
And so I'm afraid of what I'm going to say on live TV and you can't bleep me out. But no, because again, it goes back to haters are going to hate. Is that Taylor Swift? Haters gotta hate. But she wasn't around with me in the 70s and 80s.
Did the comments initially get to you? Has this resilience come over time.
Over the years, it
Yeah.
did, absolutely.
And now just like a
No,
lack
you
of
know
a
what I
Wi-Fi
always,
connection. What?
If somebody I know and trust and love says something to me, then it impacts me. But strangers, again, I just say, Lord, please bless them.
Yeah. And
You know,
it's easy to
they,
be
they
cruel.
must be miserable, or they would not be sitting around saying things like that.
And it's easy to be cruel when you're anonymous, and that's what a lot of internet users
And
are.
they're brave, very brave.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story that of one of my early interactions with you. Two.
Did I have my clothes
It's a
on?
beautiful moment. You did. Only briefly. So, two things that I remember. Now I have already forgotten one of them.
Early in our...
Okay, well, one, I will say, when we first talked about doing the 4th hour, and we were switching the show up, and you were going to come out with Hoda, I decided I'm going to do research on Kathie Lee Gifford and see what people say about her. Because the truth is, in the newspaper, the New York Post loves to report about TV. They just love, and the Daily News at the time. And usually who's leaking it are the producers. That's the truth. Like, they're the ones behind the scenes. Like,
Now
an
I
anonymous
know.
source, truthfully.
Okay.
I couldn't find anything that was like, she's horrible to work with. I couldn't find a thing.
That you won't find, I don't think. No,
Well, that's just, but that's what I'm like, that says a lot, because the people that you see every day, the ones you work with, and to this day continually say how wonderful you are to work with.
Oh, thank you.
And the other thing I remember 8 years ago saying to you, what are you the most proud of? And this taught me a lesson that I take with me to this day. And you said, I don't know. Well, I said, you must be so proud of all that you have accomplished. And you said, I'm not so much proud as I am grateful.
Groud is the word we use now.
Groud.
Groud. And there's a funny story. When Cody went to USC in the film school, Cass, of course, was still home, 4 years younger, and Cody's grades arrived. Maybe I shouldn't tell this story, but I'm into it now. Forgive me, son. Anyway.
The internet is forever. Go on.
Yeah, no. He got straight A's. And I'm not saying anything. And Cassie goes, Mom, aren't you going to say something? Aren't you proud? And I said, well, of course I'm proud of him, honey. But, you know, pride comes before the fall, Scripture says.
Okay.
And he could be out this weekend, you know, impregnating a waitress in Las Vegas. And so you got to be careful about what you're proud of, because any minute things could change.
Right.
And here, this is the best part. Cassie goes, oh, you're right.
Well, I can say
she
for the
said,
record that has not happened.
Not at all, not
Jane.
at all. I was teasing her, you know, and she said, but Mom, so she said, we need a God word for proud. And so we came up with groud, which means grateful to God for all the wonderful things that are happening in your life, but completely aware that you could screw it up at any point.
Right.
And I think that's the way we're supposed to hold our children
Yeah.
close.
And I
Groud of you, honey, groud, but
yeah,
so
and
grateful
we
to
are
God.
grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. And I will say, I always say, if I were in jail, I'd call Kathie Lee, because one, she'd probably bail me out. Two, she'd give me a good talking to. And three, then she'd forgive me.
well, you'd be in for impersonating a Ken doll.
Again, I'm grateful for you, Kathie Lee
I
Gifford,
love
everyone.
you. I
Thank
love you. Love you.
GIFFTWines.com. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. All the best.